Hey everyone, it's Heather Hope back with another video. Okay, so I actually don't know what to talk about yet, but I really wanted to jump on and talk. There, I guess there's a couple things. Oh my goodness. I think this is going to be more of a podcast episode. Um, so I don't know. Some of you may know that I've been studying metaphysics for the past, well, I don't know how long, at least the past year. And I have just been kind of in these moments for the past week, especially sometime in the morning after I do like my affirmations, my writing, all the things that I do in the morning. And then I'm just like thinking and putting things together. And it's just been super transformative. But I've thought of how I've compared a lot of Abraham Hicks and Neville Goddard and all of that stuff, and I still stand by what I say before, or what I've said it before, but it's all essentially the same stuff. And I know a lot of you have been agreeing with me of like, it's just semantics. It's literally just different words. And some teachers are really good of explaining topics or explaining concepts better than others. And I think that's the case. I think that's really why a lot of people say law of attraction is crap and it's not, it's not the same. And it's just, I think it's just not explained as thoroughly as people on the Neville Goddard side of law of assumption and all that good stuff. So anyway, this morning, it's just a daily event. My husband's been listening to me, and I had to check in with him this morning and be like, are you on board with everything I'm saying, or do you think I'm crazy? And he's like, no, I'm on board with you. I'm like, oh, thank God. Because, these are not new topics. These are not new subjects. They've been around for probably a couple hundred years that I know of at least. But not everybody knows this stuff. Like most people don't know what's going on in this universe. So I talked to some people in my personal life, and it's like the reason why I say this certain things that I do say, it's because I study for hours every single day, pretty much every day, of how the universe works, like how all of this stuff works. Like that's my main study in life is this stuff. I used to call it law of attraction. Now it's just what the hell's going on here, right? Like how are things created? What is all of this? And I really am on board with this. Your imagination creates the things that I truly believe that your thoughts in every moment create your next moment. Depending on how much you kind of believe it or not, I think there's a consensus that the things that you don't believe too much to actually happen take longer, like the resistance, right? And so me being the inquisitive, curious one, I always have to find out how things work or why they work or what all of this is. I just can't take a concept and be like, okay, I have to actually dig into it for years and figure it out as to why that is true. And so I've come now this past week into the absolute knowing that anything is possible. Like we say these things, right? These cliche statements, but do we actually believe them? And why? Why do we believe them? But when we look at so I've been into Neville Goddard for the past couple of months now, and a lot of the coaches that teach Neville. And one of the things, let's go into one particular concept that I've gotten into, and that is kind of bridge of incidents, or we can go into like that our mind or our brain has to make logical sense of our manifestation to unfold. Let's go with that. I do believe that that's just a scientific, or what field of study would that be under? Neuroscience, whatever it is. I actually haven't looked it up, but I do know that that is like a reason that a lot of coaches or teachers out there say that we have to have, our brain has to be logical. And I disagree, highly disagree, that anything has to be logical, because I believe that that's a human concept that is just passed along as well. It must be true. I believe it has to be true for those who believe it to be true, right? That's like a prime premise of what we're doing here, of, you can make anything true. So I disagree, because I a lot of my manifestations made no sense at all. And I'm like, what the hell? I say it all the time. This doesn't make sense. And then, studying in all the teachers, well, not all the teachers, but a lot of teachers talk about this, but even Abraham Hicks talks about, a lot of the things I'm looking at go right back to, is confirmation of what Abraham Hicks has been saying. So I definitely am not here to discredit Abraham at all. There's just been some areas that I was like, about, but going through Neville, coming back back to Abraham and other stuff, other people, I'm like, still, again, they're all saying the same things, just different words. And some people are more in depth than others in their teaching. So logic, that is a very limiting belief that things have to be logical. It's just, and so to be truly honest with why I stopped coaching for about a year and a half, let's say, is because I got kind of entangled. I've talked about this before with my clients' belief systems, and I had a hard time untangling things within myself. And so one of the things that I guess I manifested, because now I know how to work with people a lot better after going through all of this stuff lately, that one of the things is that they would take pieces from other fields of study with manifestation and just entangle themselves within all of these branches of study, psychology in particular. But we can dive into psychology. We can dive into all the other sciences, basically anything that's been said or proven or anything, and entangle it with manifestation, whatever you want to call it, or manifesting, and then make all these rules and make it was just impossible to untangle it. And my thing was, a lot of teachers will say, pick one teacher and stick with them, because you'll have a lot more success if you just pick one. Because if you're all over the place, which a lot of my clients were all over the place, which was weird because I wasn't all over the place. So it was like, if we get into Neville's, or, everyone is you pushed out, which I love that concept. I'm studying it all the time. That's definitely not a trait that I had. It ended up being an assumption with my clients that that's what they were doing. It like came to me, and then it was just kind of an assumption that that's what they were doing. So that's where my entanglement came, and I couldn't get out of it until I was like, okay, I got to stop coaching altogether because I need to regroup here, like a start over. And so I took a long time off, which was wonderful. But when you pull all of these different teachers in, and they all have, so when you look at teachers that are humans, like myself, we all have limiting beliefs. Now I'm trying to get rid of all of them, because I always want to know the truth. Like, what is like the real deal here? What is really going on? And so anytime I catch myself saying anything that is a limiting belief, I'm like, no, Heather, that's a limiting belief. Stop it. So, but most teachers have limiting beliefs because they're humans. And a lot of times people who are teaching this stuff are not studying it as deeply as they should to be able to teach it. Now, what people say, they'll parrot other teachers, like they'll learn a concept and then they'll teach it, and it's like, that's, that's being taught, to learn something and then go make a video about it and teach it yourself when that person has zero zero like experience with it, or actual knowing. They're just reciting the same thing that the last person said without any knowledge. So of course, I went into this one of my last videos of like how in depth I study, and nobody knows this. My husband is like the only person, other than you guys maybe, knows how much time I spend on this in a day. Like, people in my personal life have no idea what I do. Like, really. And they probably think that I literally do nothing. Well, I don't do a whole lot, but like, I do this all the time for hours and hours. Like, I'm a thinker, and I'm a critical thinker, and I'm taking things apart and I'm putting them, with other things I've learned, and really trying to grasp things before I teach them. Because as a natural born teacher, as a, researcher, as a perpetual student, as a student who's, have written the theses and the dissertations and that sort of thing, it's like, that's what you do. That's what you do as a true teacher. So yeah, so I am still working on my PhD in metaphysics, and I love it. So I'm glad I came back around to this study, and it was just to figure out my own life, basically. And then it's like, okay, now I got to get back to teaching, because it is life-saving, it's everything. It's literally life. So let's get back to what were we talking about? There was a concept that I had brought up that I think is really important. Oh, well, we don't need logic. That's just a brain thing. That's not even a brain thing. That is what researchers think that we need to have. And then the manifestation teachers think that that's what we need. So we have to really decipher what is another branch of study, and what is true manifestation, what is truly what's going on here. So, and this is where humans get lost every time. And there's other law of assumption coaches out there. A lot of them are master level therapists like myself. And they're still lost in their bubble. Like, I know one in particular that I do watch. She's still lost in her clinical side of clinical bubble, because she will dive into psychology, and it's like, you can't dive into psychology. It's so limiting. That's why I'm not in psychology anymore. It's highly limiting. But to think of all these concepts, it's like, no, you have to break yourself away from all these branches of studies. And like, because if you come up with a research study, dive into that subject, that's so fun, because I just don't believe in science, because we've known for decades that what the researcher believes, like the hypothesis, will come true, because you can make anything true. They proved it with the observer effect many years ago, that it all depends on the person, the actual researcher doing the research, what their assumption is. We can go with the law of assumption on here. What their assumption is of what they're going to find, and then they will prove it. So you cannot bring a single research study in to say, well, writing things down really helps you by 80% to remember, whatever it is. Like, well, that's just one researcher or researchers who came in with that assumption and proved it to be true, because you can come in and prove anything to be true. See what I mean? So you can't believe anything. That sounds terrible, but you can't. You have to. So basically, what do you believe? You believe whatever you want to make true, right? Whatever you want to be true, you have to believe that. And, and to actually believe it, that's another subject. Do you have to believe everything you manifest? No, you don't. You don't. Somehow things come in. So the study of metaphysics is the study of the unseen, what we can't see, which is all of this, right? So that's what I study. I study the unseen. So what I truly believe now is that Whatever you want to make true will be true. And it doesn't have to be logical. It can come out of anywhere. I believe that things come out of thin air. I believe that things can happen at any time. You just have to focus there. You have to focus your beliefs, your thoughts, your words in that direction. You can't say, well, I don't believe it and still have things manifest. I don't believe that. You have to have your focus on it. So having your focus on where you want things to go will go in that direction. So I felt like jumping on here because I've felt so good today and I feel so calm, and I'm like, I don't know, I just want to talk and I just want to make a video and say something. So because it's just so exciting. This is incredibly exciting. How much you can change your life with these concepts, with this information of things just don't need to be logical. Things can come out of anywhere. So one of my affirmations I say once in a while is, I allow the unseen to be seen. So, so there's one teacher that I do follow. I don't watch all of his videos. He does post daily, multiple videos a day. And that's Elmer Locker Jr. His grandfather was a student of Neville Goddard's. And you can see his video from years ago. His grandfather was pretty fascinating about the ladder technique. There's a video that Elmer posted yesterday. So right now I'm filming this on February 4th. So it was the 3rd, and it's called Inception. But I've watched his video. It's like 5 minutes, like 10 times now since yesterday, because it absolutely validates how I think things are, of how things are. Like, we are absolutely limitless, and things can come out of anywhere. If you can believe. So this is where I'm headed with this channel. And once again, I've done this in the past where my stuff is like more higher level Abraham Hicks, more higher level, whatever it is, it's like higher level. And I told my husband this morning, I'm like, well, I have to teach this now. So, because it's so out there, it's just so much, but it's incredibly inspiring. And that's where I want to go, is inspiration, because I want every single person to know that they can have literally anything they want. Anything. Now, I've said that in the past, but now I truly, truly believe it, for reasons of what we're talking about today and what Elmer is talking about. How basically, if you can believe that things can come out of nowhere, or that, because this is all, so, like, I do believe that everything comes from our imagination. Like, this is all made up. Like, this 3D world is completely made up and fake, and it's just a projection of our mind. Now, that has been, I don't want to say that's kind of proven in science, because we can prove anything. But, and I'm sitting here this morning thinking about my, I used to work with schizophrenic clients. For years, I worked with them. And I knew there was something else going on. And now I wish I could go back in time, like go back and observe that time of my life, kind of like a fly on the wall, and go back to what I know now and what I saw then. You know what I mean? Because there was just a couple of people that I'm like, there's something else going on here. But that was with my limited thinking back then as a therapist, super limited. So now I'm like, oh, there's something there. Oh my gosh. I knew all along. I knew that this was not, I don't really believe in mental illness. I believe in levels of energy and levels of, I believe in limited thinking. I believe that people have limited thinking and think that everything that's out there is abnormal when it's backwards, right? So anyway, so I'm looking at my schizophrenic clients and I'm like, I kind of want to get into that research a little bit, but then again, it's research, right? You can prove anything to be true. So I don't think I'll go down that rabbit hole because I don't want to be limiting myself with, I think I'm better suited, and I think all of you are as well, to just go in your own thought, because we can tap into whatever this is, source, infinite intelligence, whatever it is, we have the knowledge, and we know when we have it. You know what I mean? Like, when you tap into something, So I think that's a lot better than researching something that researchers have proven, when we know that we can prove anything to be true. So anyway, it's like round and around, right? With this stuff, but you have to watch what you're taking in, with different fields of study telling you, well, this is true. This is true. This is true. This is true. But you can make anything true, literally anything. And so I have a friend that I talk to all the time. And, for an example, he told me yesterday, he's like, oh, I just picked up an iced coffee because I really needed one. He's like, I know it's not the greatest thing to drink. And I'm just sitting here rolling my eyes because I know better. Like, and it's hard because he's going to catch on. But it's like, I said, no, it's fine. It's fine. That's as far as I can go because but it's literally like, so I'm losing weight because I have affirmations that say everything I eat makes me lose weight. I have a few affirmations that I recite every day, and I keep forgetting to eat lunch, and I I'm not hungry, and I don't care about food anymore. And, just naturally over time, I get on the treadmill every so often and I do things, and it's like, I'm not thinking about it at all. Like, I'm not on a diet. I know that I'm going to get down to a size that I want to be because I affirm it every day. And I love what I see in the mirror. That's an affirmation that I, recite. So, here's a person that I would love to tell him, because I tell him about affirmations, and I'd like to say, just say, no matter what I eat, I still lose weight, or, anything like that, right? Anything. Like, I try to remember an affirmation for money of like, every dollar I spend, I get 100 back. I write them down. And then, when I go through my day, I kind of forget. I do forget. But there's all these affirmations. If you just say them, you don't have to believe them. You can believe that your affirmations come true, because I do believe that what I say and what I think comes true. I do know that. Like, that's a belief that I hold, because I do believe that that's the truth. So I create a bunch of affirmations knowing that whatever I'm thinking about and whatever I'm talking about is coming true. It might come true right then, and it might come true, later on. Whatever it is, it's coming true. So create affirmations like that. Not that you're going to eat healthy. Who cares? Eat whatever you want. That's my philosophy. When, the last few times I was on a diet, I was like, this doesn't feel right to me. Being on a diet feels so limiting and restrictive and awful. Who the hell wants to do this? So many times I kept saying, there's got to be a better way. The mindset way has to be the better way. And I thought all this mindset had to be so difficult, and it doesn't. Now, this is what I've been saying that I love the law of assumption coaches for, because they're just like, affirm it. It's that easy. And it is that easy. So coming back around, affirmations work. They do. They work. Undoubtedly, they work. And you don't have to believe what they say, or you don't have to believe them. Now, you can believe, like I just said, you can believe that your thoughts and your words create, which I think you guys do because we're here, that your thoughts and your words create. They unfold. Like, a lot of times I do believe they unfold my path in the moment. So, and then there's other things that are unfolding. However, why? I don't know why, honestly. It's got to be resistance. I think that's the consensus, that anything that takes longer. But I really believe that it is instant. And the more you get into this, the more I think things will be instantaneously created or manifested. So just keep working on it. So Mindset work doesn't have to be so difficult. All it can be is writing affirmations down every day, saying them every time you eat something. Say, you know what, everything I eat makes me lose weight. Doesn't matter. Or I just automatically lose 5 pounds a week, or I automatically lose whatever you want, whatever it is. Or my metabolism is so fast. I can eat anything I want and be a size whatever. Mine is a sexy size 12 because, yeah, that's what I love. So that's for weight loss. So for money, you can do any number of ones. Let me pull my notebook out because I have a few that are really good. I mean, I know you guys have heard them, but I had to write them down because I got these and I'm like, yeah, I write down so much in a day now. Like I'm writing a lot. And then I think it was yesterday, I'm like, I think I'm writing a book here, like literally another book, which is so higher level. Yeah, the less I work, the more money I make. Money comes to me easily and effortlessly, and wealth is natural to me. So there's a few. I live a lavish lifestyle. I am, let me think here. I have so many. And then I'll write some things that I'm thinking about. Write some things that I'm manifesting. Write, when I'm feeling anxious about something, I'll just come in my notebook and write. It's funny because it's a really big notebook and I got it last month, but it says on the front, create the life you love. And so my belief / assumption is everything I write in this book is true, or it's coming true. So I'm writing my life in this book because every single thing in this book is something that I want. So isn't that pretty cool? So my assumption is that everything I write comes true in this book, especially in this book, because this book is all about creating the life I love. And so a lot of things have been manifesting. So that's the thing. I don't want to say that things are manifesting. Things are manifesting. And especially my knowing, my confidence, but there's a lot of things in here. Just so many things in here that are manifesting. I don't even know. There's a lot of private things in here. That's why I'm not sharing my manifestations lately, because it's very private to me. But one day I will. I say it on my Facebook page. Every once in a while I'm like, oh gosh, I can't wait to tell you guys what's been going on. I just can't say it though. There's things I just cannot talk about yet because they involve people, they involve things. But it's all coming. So anyway, I guess this was just a chat of a bunch of stuff about metaphysics and manifestation and limiting beliefs and different fields of study, and pick I don't know. I don't want to say pick one person because I don't recommend that at all. I did so my chosen person, which was just what I found at the time, was Abraham Hicks, and I stuck with Abraham. And so I'm really, really good with Abraham's material, but I don't recommend picking one at all. I don't. You can. Well, no, let me preface that with, if you're a critical thinker, you can't because you're going to be like limited. You'll be like, well, but I would say, pick either, kind of channel, because, Bashar comes in every so often with me of something I've learned from Bashar. It's like it validates some points. And then, of course, Abraham, and then Neville, and then Neville's teacher, and then, it's just kind of all in that realm. And so I don't, and then I listen, I watched a lot of other coaches' videos. One coach in particular who has helped me tremendously make this so simple is Sammy Ingram. And, it's really funny. She seems like such a sweet person. I know she comes off as like bitchy, but I think we all have that in ourselves. I certainly do, but I don't like to come off that way. But she's breaks things down so simply, and she was the one I think that got me into more about the affirmations. But what was I going to say about? Oh, when I first a video popped up a couple months ago with her, and I wasn't quite sure. I never saw her before. And what's so funny, I think I just didn't click on it. And then like the next day, another video popped up and I clicked on it. And then I want to say accidentally, but I don't believe in accidents, but I clicked on subscribe before I even like listened to her. And then I was like, listened for a couple minutes and I'm like, no. And I unsubscribed. And then like the next day I watched another video of hers and then I subscribed. And I watch like everything of hers because she just breaks it down so simply. And that is what I like about the Law of Assumption coaches. They break things down so simply. It's, let's focus on these affirmations and self-concept. And that's where I got that from. Self-concept stuff from was them, which is everything. It's everything. It's so much. So we'll get into more of that. But, and what they call like a glow up, which I went through a glow up without even knowing it when I first started on my self-concept. Like I didn't even know I was starting on I didn't even know. Like I just improved. Like I've been wanting to improve my appearance for a long time, like my hair and whatever. And I went and I did it. And then all of a sudden I just look totally different, like completely night and day of what I used to look like. And I am so happy with my appearance. And it was just like, boom, poof, done. And I'm like, holy hell. It was like the best thing I ever did. So anyway, so she's a coach that I follow religiously and I like her attitude. I know she gets stuff for it. I don't know, but I still like it. Anyway, I'm going to go because I am hearing my voice kind of get tired. So, yeah. So I will talk to you guys soon. Have an amazing rest of your day and